Have you ever heard of a tiny nighttime habit that people say can shift the energy around money before sunrise? Not a complicated routine. Not a long prayer. Not something expensive. Just one small act, done with focus, done in silence, done right before sleep. It sounds almost too simple. That is why most people laugh at it before they try it. But stay with me, because what I'm about to share has been whispered about for generations inside families that believed money should never be treated as random chaos. They believed money responds to order, to intention, to the energy you carry when the world finally goes quiet. And tonight, before your head touches the pillow, you're going to hear about one of the simplest prosperity rituals connected to salt in your wallet. Crazy? Maybe. Easy? Yes. But here is the part most people miss. Small rituals are not powerful because of the object. They are powerful because of the meaning, the focus, and the repeated action behind them. So do not click away, because the step you do the next morning is the part people always forget, and many believe that is where the whole thing either locks in or falls apart. Watch closely. Listen carefully, because the details matter, and the story behind this practice is what makes it unforgettable. I learned about this from an older woman in my family who had lived through loss, hunger, fear, and the kind of uncertainty that changes the way a person sees every coin and every loaf of bread. She came to a new country with almost nothing. No safety net, no comfort, no perfect English, no easy path waiting for her. But she carried discipline, memory, and a few quiet practices she never spoke about in public. Over the years, she built a life step by step. Then she built stability. Then she built assets. One evening, while preparing for the next day, I saw her take a small pinch of salt from a separate container, hold it for a moment like it mattered, whisper a few words, and place it into her purse. I asked what she was doing. She smiled in that calm way older people do when they know more than they plan to explain all at once. She told me that when life feels unstable, people need symbols that teach the mind and spirit not to panic. She said salt protects, salt preserves. Salt reminds you that value should stay with you, not slip through your hands. Years later, when I was struggling and felt like money came in only to disappear again, I remembered that moment. I followed the steps exactly as I had been shown. That night I slept with a strange kind of peace. And the next day, two separate pieces of overdue money moved toward me. Was it magic? Was it timing? Was it focus finally changing the way I saw opportunity? Believe whatever you want. But from that moment on, I never forgot the ritual. Here is the deeper idea behind it. In old traditions, salt was never just seasoning. It meant preservation. It meant protection. It meant lasting value. In many cultures, salt stood for endurance because it keeps things from spoiling, from breaking down, from being wasted. And when people connected salt with money, the meaning became simple. Preserve what comes in. Protect what you earn. Stop the constant leaking of energy, attention, and value. That is why this ritual speaks to so many people, not because a pinch of salt is secretly a lottery ticket, but because it becomes a physical sign of a decision to stop living in pure reaction, a decision to stop treating money like fear, a decision to create a new inner message: what enters my life can stay, grow, and serve a purpose. Think about how most people handle money. They feel stress the second they think about it. Bills, debt, delays, bad timing. A card that declines at the worst possible moment. A message you do not want to open. A balance you do not want to check. Day after day, the mind gets trained into loss before gain even arrives. This is why symbolic action can feel powerful. It interrupts the pattern. It tells the body, the mind, and the emotions that a new story is being written. And when your story changes, your choices often begin to change with it. Stay with me, because the setup matters, the timing matters. The wording matters, and the morning step matters most of all. The practice begins at night, ideally within the hour before sleep, when the noise of the day is fading and your mind is more open than it is in the rush of morning. First, wash your hands slowly. Do not do it like a chore. Do it like a reset. As the water runs, imagine the stress of the day leaving you. Imagine the fear, the irritation, the shame around money, the feeling of never having enough, all being rinsed away. Then step into a quiet space. Turn off the distractions. Put the phone down. Let the room become still. If you have a candle, you can light it. If not, silence is enough. Now choose your salt carefully. The version most people use in this ritual is coarse sea salt. Not because it looks fancy, but because it feels raw, natural, and connected to flow. Take a small pinch in your right hand and hold it near your chest. Look at it. Tiny crystals. Simple, common, easy to overlook. And yet people have treated salt as something precious for thousands of years. Close your eyes and speak slowly. Say that just as salt preserves and protects, may your resources be preserved and protected. Just as salt once carried real value, may value move toward you and remain with you. Then bring to mind one clear financial intention. Not a vague wish. Not, I want more money. Make it specific. A number, a need, a deadline, rent, groceries, a payment, a bill, a cushion, a goal. Say it aloud 3 times in the present tense, as if the movement has already begun. This is where the ritual stops being random and starts becoming focused. Next, take your wallet, the one you actually use, not an extra one hidden in a drawer. Clean it first. Remove the clutter, old receipts, useless scraps, expired cards, anything that makes it feel crowded and stale. Leave only what matters. Your wallet should feel like a place that can hold value, not a pocket-sized junk drawer. If you want, write your intention on a small folded piece of paper and place it inside the bill compartment. Then gently place the pinch of salt on or near that note. Do it slowly. No rush, no mess, no throwing it in carelessly. While you do that, say a short line of invitation, something simple and strong. You can say, may what I earn be protected. May what I need move toward me. May my life hold more stability, more provision, and more peace. Then comes the part many people remember because it feels unusual. Hold the wallet near your mouth. Take a deep breath in. Pause for a moment. Then breathe out slowly over it. Do that 3 times. The idea here is that breath carries intention, warmth, presence, life. You are not just holding an object. You are charging a symbol with focus. After that, place the wallet under your pillow before sleep. Yes, under the pillow. Strange things are often the most memorable things, and memorable actions are the ones people actually repeat. As you lie down, say a final line of gratitude and expectancy. Something like, as I rest, let peace replace fear. As I sleep, let provision move closer. When I rise, let me walk in wisdom and receive what is opening for me. Now here is the morning step, and this is where the script truly turns from ritual into mindset. When you wake up, do not grab your phone first. Do not jump straight into noise. Reach under the pillow and touch the wallet before anything else. The moment your hand touches it, speak words of thanks before you see evidence. That matters. Gratitude before proof changes the emotional atmosphere inside you. Say, thank you for the support, the opportunities, and the provision moving into my life today. I receive what is good with gratitude. Then open the wallet. Look at the salt. Touch it lightly. Let the action become real in your waking state, not just in the soft mystery of night. Then say one more short line. It is in motion. I will notice it. I will act on it. I will not ignore what is opening. And that last part is important, because this is where people get confused. They think a ritual means doing nothing. But the strongest version of any ritual is one that sharpens your awareness. Maybe the result comes as a refund you forgot about, a delayed payment, a new client, a side opportunity, a useful call, a practical idea, a conversation that leads somewhere, a debt finally repaid, a chance you would have missed if your mind was still buried in fear. Retention line here, because this is where many people click away too early. The ritual is not just about expecting money to appear. It is about becoming the kind of person who sees movement sooner, acts faster, and receives without instantly collapsing back into doubt. People who feel drawn to this practice often say the first change is not in their bank balance. It is in their nervous system. They feel less scattered, less desperate, less ashamed. And that matters more than most people realize, because financial pressure is not only external, it becomes physical. Tight chest, short breath, restless sleep, irritation, avoidance, panic at every notification. And when you live like that long enough, you stop seeing possibilities clearly. You only see danger. So a small repeated act at night can become a doorway into a different state. You clean the wallet, and in the process you clean your attention. You set an intention, and in the process you stop speaking in fog. You sleep with a symbol of value close to you, and in the process you tell your mind that support is allowed to come closer, not stay far away. Then morning arrives, and instead of rushing straight into fear, you begin with touch, gratitude, and focus. That may sound small. It is small. That is the point. Big change often hides inside small repeated actions. And if you do choose to keep the salt in the wallet for several days, let it remind you that money is not only about getting more, It is also about holding value better, spending with awareness, noticing leaks, and keeping your energy cleaner around every decision. If after a week you want to continue, replace the old salt respectfully and begin again with a fresh intention. Not out of panic, out of practice, out of rhythm, out of the belief that your life can hold more order than chaos. One more thing, keep the practice private if you do it. Not because you owe anyone secrecy, but because new habits are fragile when they are still forming. The second you hand them to loud, cynical people, the energy around them gets scattered. Protect what is still becoming real to you. Also, if money does move toward you in some form, do not grip it with fear the moment it arrives. Use it wisely, handle it with respect, and if you can, let a small part of what comes through you move outward in kindness, generosity, or support. Many old traditions believe that flow stays alive when it does not stop at the first hand that receives it. And whether you see this as spiritual law, symbolic psychology, or a simple grounding habit, there is something powerful in that image. You are not begging life for scraps. You are preparing yourself to handle increase with calm, attention, and gratitude. So tonight, if this speaks to you, do it with sincerity, not as a stunt, not as a joke, not as a desperate last shot filled with panic. Do it with a steady heart. Then sleep, then wake, then notice. And if you want the strongest version of this practice, pair it with real action the next day. Check the overlooked email. Follow up on the unpaid invoice. Apply for the opportunity. Return the message. Review the expense. Reopen the path you were avoiding. Because sometimes what looks like a sign is also an instruction. And sometimes what people call a ritual is really a moment that finally makes them ready to receive, ready to respond, and ready to stop telling themselves that nothing can change. If you want, I can now turn this into an even more viral version with a stronger first 30 seconds, heavier suspense, and more YouTube retention lines while keeping the same no-heading, paragraph-only format.